Hello, this is Dean Phoenix, part 3 of my break HP limit stat maxing guide. So this is the stat maxing guide for if you're wanting to get 99,999 HP to make maximum effect of the break HP skill in Final Fantasy 10 and get the highest HP possible and max effective stats. Now, if you've been following the guide so far, then at the end of the last episode, you should have caught up with the part where we have got strength, defense, magic defense, and agility all sorted, and now we're looking at one of the most difficult grinds, and the ones that we've got left are HP, luck and magic, and this is magic that we're going to be doing, and this is why we do things in a very specific order. So as you can see here, at the end of the last episode, this is pretty much where we left off, where we have got Yuna, enough sphere levels to go around the grid, and to get the sections of strength, defense, magic defense and agility, and also we got 32 of the HP spheres, so that should have 9,999 HP. And the reason we're doing this is the way that the Aeon stats are worked out is if you raise Yuna's magic, then obviously Anima and the other Aeon's magic will be raised, and it is Anima that we want to make use of to beat Jumbo Flan and get the 47 magic spheres that we need to max magic at 255 for characters when we take into account the magic plus 4 nodes that are already on the grid. Now you can see there that Anima had about 194 magic, and that is because as well as raising Yuna's own magic, if you raise her other stats, then it will raise Anima's magic as well. This is due to a complicated mechanic, but basically if you raise any of Yuna's stats, it will also raise Anima's stats. So if you raise her magic defense to 255, it will make a substantial difference to all of Anima's other stats, including magic and agility, which is what we need to beat Jumbo Flan. And you can see there that I've got 2 magic spheres, and if you just noticed just before, Anima had about 194 magic herself. So here, this is with the stats that I had with Yuna, so I hadn't completed the entire grid, but I'd done most of it, and you can see there that Anima has 212 magic after we finished off, and I used a few teleport spheres because with your 255 strength you can very easily overkill Sleep Sprout and get some teleport spheres, move around the grid and collect those magic plus 4s, using a few of those with Yuna. Now if you have any magic spheres already, you've probably picked up a few during the game because there are a couple, and I have already used one earlier in the game in Yuna's regular grid, so that her and Kamara could use it, and here I had 2 magic spheres, so I've used those as well. So remember, we need to have added 47 magic spheres in total, so I've already used like 2 or 3 there, and you can see that by me using those 2 magic spheres and raising Yuna's magic, it has correspondingly raised Anima's magic. Now there are 2 methods that we can use to raise Anima's magic. One of them to raise Anima's magic and also our character's own magic, and this is what we're going to be doing. So you want a character with first strike, Tidus already has a first strike weapon for me, and as a luxury, if you want, you can create that character an auto reflect shield as well, which is what I've done with Tidus, because you can actually use that to farm luck with Tidus if you get bored of using attack reels. And then you just have the 3rd character as having being the slowest character, so Orin or somebody else, with an initiative weapon to stop ambushes. So you start off with the first strike character, which is, as you can see here, is Tidus. I'm going to fight Jumbo Flan. I set the cursor to memory so that it will always remember his first turn is slow, and we cast slow on the auto reflect character. Now instead you can use the use command, you just need to basically use the first strike and slow. Jumbo Flan has auto reflect itself, so if you want to slow it, that's why we need to cast reflect on one of our characters, or preferably have them with auto reflect armor first. So cast slow, and then the second turn should be Yuna summoning Anima, and you should cast haste with Anima on herself, and if you want you can also cast shell, but with 255 magic defense and the other stats being so high, that bit really doesn't matter, so really it's just haste. So you can see there that Anima has haste, which we've taught her with chocobo feathers, and then what we're going to do is just going to spam pain over and over again. Now this is the best method available to us at the minute until Anima has almost 255 magic herself. So if Anima's magic is anywhere sort of 180 or above, it might be even lower, but my magic is always over 180 by the time I get to this stage. But if Anima's magic should be sufficient to deal 99,999 damage to Jumbo Flan, which is important, we must always finish Jumbo Flan off with a pain attack because you need to overkill Jumbo Flan to get the 2 magic spheres. So this is why we use Anima. Now, the problem with this method is that, as you can see the CTP bar on the right, every time you use Pain, it takes a big chunk of Anima's tick, so it slows her down, and basically, even though Jumbo Flan is slowed, because Anima is using Pain, which is a rank 6 attack, it's sort of like a slow recovery move, so you complete repeatedly using Pain, but that means that you can see there on the CTV bar you get less turns as you go, and it means that you have to watch more animations from Jumbo Flan getting certain spells on you, and also having the potential to cast regen on itself, or Curaga to heal itself, both of which are quite frustrating, especially the regen. So the reason that we're using this method at the minute is because Anima's magic is not high enough to do good damage with Flare, not high enough to do enough damage with Flare. So we're just going to use this method of spamming Pain first, and then basically every time you overkill Jumbo Flan, unless you get the rare drop of 2 Dark Matters, you will get 2 magic spheres. Now you can immediately use these magic spheres with Yuna, and because you're raising Yuna's magic, it will in turn raise Anima's magic. So basically, as you saw here, Anima started off at about 212 to 218 magic. Yours may be lower, that's fine, as long as she's got high enough magic to deal 99,999 damage with Pain. You can use this method and just get some of the magic spheres, and you continue to use the magic spheres until Anima's own magic reaches almost 255. So when Anima's own magic is about 245 plus, then there is a slightly quicker method we can start using instead, whereby we double cast Flare until Jumbo Flan has only 1 or 200,000 HP left, at which point we can use Pain to just finish it off once or twice. And basically this method of double casting Flare 14 times, you need to have used Flare 14 times, using Flare 14 times and then finishing off Jumbo Flan with Pain is even quicker than just spamming Pain, and it will save us a lot of time, because it'll take about 12 magic spheres roughly to get, if you are starting at roughly the same magic as me with Yuna, it'll take about 12 or so magic spheres before Anima's own magic has reached about 255. So even if you do that, so you can see here, this is fast forwarding a little bit, so this is when Yuna has used, this is using up about 12 of those magic spheres, and remember we need to have added 47 in total to the grid, so by the time we're all said and done, we need to have added 47 total magic spheres. So even if you've used these 12, there's still a long way to go. You still have to fight Jumbo Flan about 15 or more times to get the remaining spheres to take you up to 47 magic spheres. But as you can see here, I've used about 12 of them so far, and you'll see Yuna's magic and the stat that is at when it's finished. And so Yuna's magic there is about 178. But that is now enough so that Anima has almost 255 magic herself. And this is the time when you can switch to start using double cast and flare instead. So we teach Anima Lancet, and we've already taught her double cast earlier in the game. I already did that. So you teach her double cast, Lancet and flare, and make sure that she also has haste and reflect. And this is the quickest way of actually farming magic, and she should have about 800 MP. More if you followed my capturing guide and raised Anima's MP already whilst doing the capturing, which is something I recommended in the capturing guide. But even so, with the current stats, Anima should have plenty of magic points to be able to double cast these flares. So we need enough magic points to cast flare and haste and reflect. So you start off casting haste, always do that first. Do not cast reflect and then haste Jumbo Flan. So we started off with first strike slow to slow Jumbo Flan like we did before, bouncing it off her auto reflect character. Then we cast haste and reflect, and then we need to double cast flare onto Anima's reflect, and we cast flare 14 times, so 7 double casts in total. Now the haste plus reflect plus 14 flares takes 778 NP. So if you have 778 NP or more, that's absolutely brilliant. Just make a note of what your maximum magic points are at this point, and then take 778 off that. And when you reach that total, you'll have used your 14 flares. I mean, that's just basic math, so hopefully that makes sense. But as you can see here, I start with 994 MP, so when I get down to the appropriate level, I know that I have used a 114. I've used 14 of those flares, and then I know it's time to use Lancet to get all of my MP back for the next fight against Jumbo Flan, and I can just kill it with pain. So this has the advantage of never having to touch the save sphere if you have over 778 MP. So hopefully that makes sense, and you can see here how it actually works in practice. So I double cast the flares, it's doing about 80,000 roughly, and if the flare averages about 85k per hit, you should be able to finish off Jumbo Flan with one Oblivion. With one Pain, beg your pardon, not Oblivion. So you may have to cast Pain twice, but that's no big shakes really. Now because double cast is only a rank 3 option, you see that it doesn't knock Animus turns back as much, and so Jumbo Flan will only get 2 turns in total, and the fight will take a lot less time, so this is why it's a lot quicker. So you can see there, I had got down to the where I've used 14 flares, and then I just used Lancet to get my MP back, and then it's just a case of casting Pain either 1 or 2 times to get the overkill on Jumbo Flan and get enough magic spheres. So hopefully that was fairly easy to follow. It's not the most complicated process, it's just that basically, as we've been following in the other parts, you add the strength, defense, magic defense and agility to other sections of the grid without using any clear spheres on the nodes that Yuna has already used, which should be pretty easy because there's a big area of the grid to avoid Yuna's spheres and nodes that she has activated already. And you just maximize her other stats there, and then that will let us be able to raise Anima's magic high enough to start using the Pain technique. And then when Anima's own magic has reached 255 from using the magic spheres that we are gradually winning from the Jumbo Flan, she is strong enough to start using the double cast flare technique, and then that will mean that that is the fastest method possible of getting the remaining magic spheres. So don't forget, in total we need to have had 47 magic spheres, so keep account of how many magic spheres you've got, or just top them up of what you've added to the grid, so that you know when you've reached 47 magic spheres in total. After we've finished the magic grind, the whole reason we've been leaving Yuna stats alone and not clearing those nodes off areas where Yuna has already activated them is so that Anima's stats would be as high as possible for farming magic. Now we have farmed the magic and we've got those 47 magic spheres, all bets are off. Anything that is not a +4 sphere, we just want to be going around the rest of the grid and clearing out all of the other spheres. So any of the HP spheres that exist already, that are HP plus 200s, we don't want any of those. Anything that is a +1, +2, +3 node, any of those, we just want to get rid of all of those. So this is the point where we can just go around and wipe everything off. Now the reason that we are doing that is now we've got magic sorted, we don't have to worry about lowering Anima stats because we've already got enough magic nodes that we're going to have the 255 magic after that. And we actually want Tidus and Riku's HP to be as low as possible to be able to use the optimum methods of getting S levels. Rikku with her lowest HP in the game, after you've cleared all of the HP off the grid, she will only be back to her base of 360 HP, which means it will get S levels tremendously quickly from the Don Tombury trick, as I'll show in just a minute. And having Tidus's HP down at his minimum of 520 means that as long as we have not raised his luck, we should be absolutely fine for using the optimum method of HP farming, which is a big part of a break HPL game. So you can see there, Rikku is back to her 360 HP, even though her other stats are very, very high still, because we've already added the strength and defense and everything else like that to the grid. So as you can see here, as long as somebody has 1 auto phoenix armor, this is how quickly the Don Tombury trick works if Rikku has killed a reasonable number of enemies, or if not, then Tidus will also be at minimum HP at this point, and he will have killed a lot of enemies as well. So you set one of those to stoic and use the Don Tombury trick as covered in part 2 of my regular stat maxing guide, which I will link to in the description. You can see here that when Rikku is taking an enormous amount of damage there and from Karma, but she only has 380 HP herself, that skews the calculation and for how much AP you get, and you get some ridiculous amount like 11 million S level, 11 million AP and a massive amount of S levels. So I hope that was easy enough to follow. We've now got the magic spheres, so that's another grind down, and the last things we have to do are luck and hit points. So we need HP spheres, luck spheres and fortune spheres, and we'll be coming onto those in subsequent episodes. Just a friendly reminder, do make sure that you've followed the other parts of this walkthrough and do not have raised Tidus or Rikku's HP or luck, because we'll need those to be low for the next episode continuing this. Thank you very much. Please like and subscribe for the rest of the walkthrough.